Okay, I know this isn't a normal video, but I really love Marvel Rivals and wanted to make this. There's no real format to this video, I'm just yapping. Alright, bye. Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of chatter about this game saying quote unquote, oh there's too many heroes, the hero stick will become old, a certain fan base crying, and too much content at launch. Anyways, let's take a look at this tweet here in a reply to if Rivals will die or not. He says it will, that's normal, if they keep bringing out heroes, it won't be a novelty anymore. Which is interesting as today of writing this video, Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic dropped giving us a new peak player count of 650,000, an entire 150k above the last peak. And this is obviously a mix of new people or a mix of old and new coming in to play this new update, which I'd be very willing to bet many of them are fans of the Fantastic Four, which pretty much leads to my whole point that you cannot compare this game to any game that has ever been released. Now, did Marvel Rivals take an already well-known concept and nearly perfect it to make it insanely fun to play? Yes, but did it also massively benefit from being a Marvel IP and caring about the product the fans are given, also allowing them to play as a large majority of people's favorite characters, with 2 more just being introduced from the Fantastic Four, which literally just dropped, as well as allowing you to play free if you choose to do so, but the ones who really want to improve and move up the ranks will become flexible to get better? The answer is absolutely yes. I also believe the fact most people will have a decent understanding of these characters' abilities before even stepping foot on the game, which provides a much easier entryway into a game like this, which I do love a lot. But that's enough on this. You all can go check out these amazing videos to see why this game on a mechanic level alone is great and why it's doing so well. But what I really want to talk about is this right here. So if we look at this pretty popular article circulating right now, it's pretty much implying that future heroes won't hit the same or generate the buzz that will get new and old fans excited to jump on or continue playing this game, which I definitely think is ridiculous, as I've seen so many people who have not even touched the game that are waiting for characters like Jean Grey, Emma Frost, or Blade to come out, then hop on and main them when that day or season comes when they are actually released. Just because a person who doesn't really seem to be a Marvel fan says they aren't excited for new heroes in a game catered towards a massive Marvel fan base should not mean anything to anyone. Of course they're gonna throw out the heaviest of heavy hitters to attract the more casual reader or fan of, let's say, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but you know what is also going to happen? They're going to keep adding these perfect fan favorite characters that if you are even a 30% Marvel fan, you will know, and that is what will keep this game strong for many years. Nothing will get some fans more excited than there may be a little more niche character getting some shine in the limelight on a massive game like Marvel Rivals, which I think is a great way for people to discover characters as a comic fan myself. I mean, look at Jeff the Lanchart getting a massive spike in popularity to the point I'm seeing people posting comic pages actively reading every day on Twitter. So yeah, while the writer of this article may not be excited, that does not mean the entire Marvel fan base will not be. I do not believe the hero stick will grow old. I in fact think it will only get more interest as time goes on with the different types of characters they decide to go with. Personally, I think it's a sad reason to try and downplay what this game is doing, but that's just me. Moving on from that, let's get into the list of 75 different Marvel characters that could very easily be added into Marvel Rivals. Although I could have done probably a bit more than this, I think this is a fair amount that reaches standard of getting people excited to play the new characters, which I do think every character here would generate a significant amount of hype. The only real rule I applied here is, I guess, do I think the character would increase this game's lifespan and overall interest at the time by a solid degree? If you disagree with any of these characters, let me know. But anyways, out of the 80,000 plus Marvel characters, here are my 75 that would make a huge impact in Marvel Rivals. Alright, so starting off with the heavy hitters, which disclaimer, this will be the only category, then after this will be the rest of the list uncategorized. So yeah, now that that's understood, let's get into the list. Alright, first up we have Deadpool, which is an obvious choice, maybe the most popular hero not in the game, and coming off of Deadpool 3 making $1 billion, it's only a matter of when, not if, Deadpool is coming to the game, and I think Deadpool should also also be a tank as well. Next up we have Jean Grey, which I'm pretty sure she's confirmed to be coming out anyway, so there's that, and I don't know what role she'd play, but she will definitely be insane. Of course, the leader of the X-Men has to be in it, that being Cyclops, especially with there not being that much effort needed to make his character work here. His powers will be super easy to implement, so yeah, give my guy Scott some more shine like he got in X-Men 97. Now we have Daredevil, who unlike Scott would be very hard to implement, but I really think they could do it given the path they have already been on so far, while making Daredevil a super unique character to play, which of course he would be a DPS. Professor X is another easy choice who I actually believe just got leaked to be coming at some point in the game, which makes a ton of sense, as well as the fact as he probably will be a strategist, just rolling around in his wheelchair. It's something we all need and beg and hope for to be in this game. Next, we have another massive hitter, that being the villain of the pinnacle of the MCU, Thanos. I guarantee you he will be in this game. You can go bet your entire house on that, your car, your life savings, anything you want. He will be in this game at some point. Spider-Man's actual greatest villain, Doc Ock, is another person I would bet a lot that is going to be here. Obviously, Venom is already in the game given he is most popular Spider-Man villain right now, but in terms of storylines, it's Doc Ock. Green Goblin is another person who should also come at the exact same time as Doc Ock. I mean, really, you could have an entire season dedicated to the Sinister Six themselves, which they might do, who knows. To follow that up, we have Kingpin, who is another villain of Spider-Man, but more importantly, Daredevil's main antagonist. If you are going to add Daredevil and already have Spider-Man in the game, why not just add Wilson Fisk? The dialogue between these three would be amazing. Blade already been officially confirmed, not even leaks anymore to come to Rivals, makes a ton of sense. I mean, everyone loves Blade, especially after the great performance by Wesley Snipes, making this character a household name, who also returned in Deadpool 3, so even more hype should be there now. Next we got Human Torch, who is already confirmed, obviously to come out this season, which is the Fantastic Four season. He should be fire to play with for sure. Next is The Thing, who will be arriving with Human Torch sometime this season, hopefully along with his iconic catchphrase. Now we have to talk about Dr. Doom, who is the main villain of the Fantastic Four and already a prominent figure in Marvel Rivals, so it's only a matter of time when he drops. Doom also happens to be my favorite Marvel villain, or comic villain in general, so hopefully he's good enough to where I can main him. Then there's Apocalypse, who's probably the most powerful villain of the X-Men other than when Jean Grey or the Phoenix Force is against him. Even though his movie isn't that good, he's still a heavy hitter in my opinion. For our next pick, we got Ghost Rider, which I mean, it's Ghost Rider. Everyone loves Ghost Rider. And knowing the Marvel Rival devs, they'd probably go with Robbie Reyes, which I'm completely fine with. Alright, for the next one, it's gonna be interesting, but I picked Miles Morales. Now I know Spider-Man is already in the game, and I tried not to have too much overlap between characters, but I think his modern established powers are enough to differentiate his potential gameplay from Peter's to justify him being put into Rivals. Captain Marvel is up next, who is one of the most prominent members of several Avengers teams in the comics, and of course has a movie that made $1 billion, so that's another easy choice for me. For the final heavy hitter, I put Ant-Man / Hank Pym, who is I believe the final missing piece from the main Infinity War Avengers. Obviously only referring to the character of Ant-Man, not Scott Lang in this case. They could even make him Yellow Jacket as a twist for this. I think that'd be pretty cool. Alright, that is the end of who I think would be the heavy hitters. The rest of these I still do think would make a huge impact, just so y'all aren't confused. Also, a couple of these could be argued to go in the category above, which I could probably agree with a few. So y'all tell me if someone should go up or move down. Anyways, back to the list. Moving on with the list, we have Mystique, who could really make for an interesting character given her ability, and I really think she'd benefit from some cool skins like Invisible Woman got. We all can agree on that, right? Following that, we have Silver Surfer, who is another major Fantastic Four character and cosmic being as a whole in the Marvel universe, who would also look insane in the game. Now we got my favorite X-Men character outside of Wolverine and Cyclops, Gambit. I mean, the staffs, the cards, everything would be perfect for this game, and it would be very hard to get me off Gambit if they put him in. Next up is Nightcrawler, and I think he should be able to teleport a teammate or an enemy as his second ability. So if you need to get someone out of danger really quick and bring him back to the healer, you can do that. I don't know what class that would put him in, but he should be a pretty pesty character, pretty much teleporting around, doing decent damage damage, almost being a distraction for the most part, but in really dire situations he can pull you out and bring you back to the healer, something like that. Especially when you got those super forward aggressive characters jumping away from the team like Spider-Man and Iron Fist, which there is a bunch of times where they need to be healed, but they're just so far away from the team that it's just pretty much a lost cause, right? So imagine you can just be Nightcrawler and just teleport to them, bring them back, and there's that. Obviously this will be needed to be the second ability, which is the 15-second one I believe, just to make this not too OP. But yeah, I think this will be a really dope character to add to the game. After that, I got Nick Fury. Just makes sense that the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. should be in the game, and it should be the Samuel L. Jackson version. Iceman is a must for this game. He's witty and would bring a completely new set of abilities that would become popular very quick. To follow that up, we have another leaked character which makes it pretty much confirmed to come to the game, and that is Colossus. I'm excited for that, and we finally get the real fastball special. Next up, we have Rogue, who coming off of X-Men 97 only makes sense to get in. Now we have Elektra, who I'd imagine would be added alongside Kingpin and Daredevil if that were to happen, which it also makes sense since we don't have a stealthy ninja type of character yet. Emma Frost is another character already confirmed to be coming to the game through leaks, and I would expect her to be a tank. Although the Inhumans aren't that popular, Black Bolt being a consistent member of the Illuminati makes his status worthy enough to be here, and his moveset could be really cool as well. Beast is another easy pick for me, but they'd have to make his movement very different from Wolverine's, or else they're just gonna blend into each other way too much. So yeah. Kitty Pryde is also another character I think would shake this game up to an insane degree, but honestly I don't know how exactly to make her work, but someone maybe creative out there can come up with something, so please be my guest on that. Next is Sentry, who would be the Superman-esque figure in this game, and even though I don't think they are too similar, a lot of his popularity comes from that, so people will care. Luke Cage, who is our third defender on the list so far, and with his prominence in the culture, it's only right for him to be brought in. Following that, we have Cable, who is a super vital character in some major X-Men storylines, as well as I think if they are creative enough, his power kit could be insane. Next up is X-23, who's grown massively in popularity over the last decade or so, and I would love to see her get some shine here. Black Cat is yet another Spider-Man villain slash ally slash person I can see being added, and I'm sure we would all love to see her great gameplay. So we're gonna need a speedster at some point, and Quicksilver is the best we got in Marvel. Now I do feel like this would definitely be the hardest to do, because how fast do you really want him to be, but you can't really have him be that slow either, and how will things like his perception work as well. I would say he needs to be easy to defeat as long as you can track him, but for the user that's using him, he needs to be hard to control, but if you can master it, he's really good. Another self-explanatory one, we have Vision, given the massive success of WandaVision, and he should have a team up with Wanda as well. Next up, we have Nova, who really just straight up needs some love. I feel like Nova is way too popular to not be getting put into any movies, really any games or cartoon spotlight anytime recently. After that, we got Sam Wilson. You can make him the Cap version or just Falcon, but there's another flying character that should be faster than the others too. Then we have Shang-Chi, who as long as they use the version of him with the 10 rings, there shouldn't really be an issue in terms of overlap with characters like Iron Fist already there. For our last defender, we have Jessica Jones, and yeah, she's pretty cool. Valkyrie, who's been growing in the community, also gets a shout here. Here's another fan favorite X-Men to add to that list, that being Bishop, and one of my personal favorites. Joining Rocket, Groot, and Star-Lord, we have Drax. Followed by him, we have the Watcher, who has been a very prominent figure in the MCU recently. Okay, this video is getting long, so I'm just gonna rapid fire through the rest of these as I'm starting to repeat myself a bit. Anyways, next up we have Juggernaut, Sharon Carter, Yelena, Howard the Duck, Kamala Khan, Dormammu, Kang, Odin, Zemo, Jubilee, Gwenpool, Rhino, Sandman, who'd be insane to see, Electro, Kraven, MODOK, Mephisto, Mr. Sinister, Mysterio, Red Skull, Ronan the Accuser, Sabretooth, Taskmaster, Toad, Onslaught, and finally, Man-Thing. Yeah, that's 75 characters, or maybe even more. I honestly didn't keep count, but I think all of those pretty much make sense. We'll see how many of them actually come to the game, because obviously from what we've seen so far, they're going to add a bunch of super niche characters as well, which I'd love to see. And I'd even expect people to get excited for those, which further proves after the success of Jeff and Luna, they don't even need to pull out all of the heavy hitters every single time, which makes that article even more irrelevant. But that's enough being negative about it. That's just his opinion that I believe is flawed and happen to disagree with. At the end of the day, this game will continue to do great with me continuing to have a great time on it. Anyways, like I said, drop what characters you want to be in Rivals, and if you disagree or agree with me, let me know. I don't know when or if I'll talk about Rivals again, but this was fun. I mean, depending on if y'all like it or not, maybe I'll be back to talk some more, but who knows. For now, it's probably just gonna be my normal content. But anyways, that's all for me. Peace.